Hello and welcome to Burning Boat Business, the podcast where we discuss the progress, success, and failures of our company, Burning Boat, as well as ourselves, Mads and Taylor.
What happened to not doing an intro?
I totally forgot.
God damn it.
I totally forgot.
Watching or listening to this, you will have just heard the intro that I made.
Maybe I'll come up with one and just dub it over my lips.
Maybe.
I was trying just now to come up with something, and I was like, you know what? That's disrespectful to make a joke out of it. And I'll be the first to admit that I literally remembered I was supposed to do that like 10 seconds ago.
What were you supposed to do?
Come up with a new intro.
No, you were wrong. The last thing we said was that I would come up with something to go over the music.
Right.
So that's what I was saying, that I will have made something because I'm editing this.
Oh, that's good.
So it's going to be a cool intro, and then it's going to be ruined by you.
No, okay, we'll play
the old
that's perfect. We'll play right now. We'll go boom ba boom 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 bam boom ba boom boom ba boom ba boom 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 dun, dun. Very strange that I have a large nose, and I'll tell you why.
I guess you're privileged to have a big nose then, because you don't live in harsh conditions.
The habanero one? Holy fuck, dude. Woo! You know, maybe I've been treating this bike as some sort of parkour bike when really it's just a...
I once came face to face with a wild rhinoceros. That was pretty crazy.
I got stung by a bee once. Welcome back to another week of Burning Boat Business. How's it going?
That's good. That works.
Nice.
Yeah. Going well.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just set it up a little bit here.
Set it up.
What's happened last week.
Oh, right.
Right. I went on a little vacation.
Yes, you did.
For 4 days.
Didn't even notice you were gone.
Right. You know, I feel like I'm getting the shit end of the stick when it comes to podcast week content.
All right.
Because I keep on getting weeks where nothing really happens.
I get the big weeks, the juicy weeks.
Yeah, you got all the juice.
You got to be more creative, which can lead to some interesting conversations.
Okay. But I was just curious, you know, I've been gone. What were you up to?
I worked.
You kind of held down
I
for
worked
us.
every single day you were gone.
Yeah, as I was expecting.
As everyone was expecting.
What, do you want a cookie for that or something? You want a little pat on the back?
No, I just felt good about doing it because it would have been very easy to take a gear down, but I was very much like, keep it up. I didn't work super hard on Sunday, but every other day it was good.
That's good.
How was that though?
That's very good.
Yeah?
We're drinking a new blend of coffee.
Yeah.
Gosh, I wish somebody would sponsor us.
Huh. That'd be nice. I edited a video. That's what I did.
Yeah, a very good video.
I guess we can talk about it?
Yeah. Here's the thing, just quickly about that whole thing. I have a feeling, because I also want to talk about the rock climbing video today, if possible.
What's the rock climbing video? Oh, the beta.
Oh, beep it out! Beep it out!
I don't like this when there's rules. It's so hard.
No, I think the only rule
goes...
is we don't want to say the company name, and we don't want to say what the company stands for. But I think we can speak as to what we're doing in the stuff, and like, oh, this was fun this week, because nobody's going to be able to piece it together.
Well, then there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I kind of need to. Otherwise, I'm just...
So you want to talk about that video? Continue.
Later. But
okay.
You edited a video for... Fuck. I don't want to say it now.
Right? This is why it's like, why not though? I mean, there's absolutely... If you ask why not,
I'm just worried. I know, but as a general rule...
Exactly.
It's like...
There's absolutely nothing weird about talking about who we made this video for or what it's about. There's nothing private about it.
No, it's just that if I made a video and someone was like, hey, Taylor's about to come out with this video, I'd be like, no.
Yeah, no. It's like we're trying to establish a general rule that kind of applies across the board regardless of what the situation is like.
Right. Fuck it. We made a video.
Yeah, we weren't getting paid for this one. So.
Yeah, exactly. This is more for a friend. It was for Espen.
Yeah, for Espen, our friend.
Yeah, you cut it together, and you did a really swell job. And
Swell job. Well, yeah, I actually really tried to impress you because you do all the After Effects stuff.
Yeah.
I don't do any of the After Effects stuff at all. You showed me before you left just a quick little thing about how to put text into the image to make it look like it's part of the scene. I was like,
and boy, did he go crazy with it.
I'm going to do that with everything. All the text is going to be in the scene.
And it's so much more interesting.
I'm going to try and impress Taylor a little bit. I even went a little bit further and did a couple other things.
It was very impressive.
Thank you.
I was very impressed. I liked all the effects. I think there was only a couple that I said my taste. I don't like that style and stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I took the one out that you didn't like.
Yeah.
And I agreed with that one.
Yeah. And then there were some really good effects.
It was fun to do because it was like there was nothing on the line really. We weren't getting paid. It wasn't for anything very specific. We were kind of given freedom to just do something interesting.
Yeah.
Come film this event that I'm putting on. It was like a movement event where it's like a combination of yoga and meditation and balance and all these different things. And like create a little video about it. And I decided to make it a little bit more than that because I wasn't super excited about just showing some people moving around on a mat.
Yeah.
So I just took it a little further and tried to do something that talks a little bit more about his philosophy in general, and
again
used footage that we've taken like over the past year from different shoots, just like nice nature stuff, drone footage, bits that we haven't really known what to do with that we were able to put in.
Yeah, you added some old school filters and stuff.
That was fun too. Yeah, basically I just went all out on everything because why not?
Right.
Just made it really stylistic.
Exactly.
And a little over the top maybe.
Yeah, but I think that's good because that's you just learning.
It was so much fun.
How to do all that
It was
stuff.
actually very satisfying.
Right.
Because it was like, oh, try this.
I think that's how you do it too, is like you go fucking crazy when you first learn something, and then you learn how to like dial it in a little bit
and make it and use it for the right reasons.
Right. Because obviously some people like use, I don't know, some of those transitions where it's like all the time, and you're like, oh my god, I get it.
Relax.
Yeah.
I mean,
but you used it very well. I thought it was motivated. Went from,
I tried because I was at one point I was like, all right, we're doing all the transitions. Every time it cuts in, it's gonna be a zoom transition. But I decided to take that out
because they're exciting. But then
it's just a little overwhelming.
You've seen it
sometimes.
too much as well on YouTube and stuff, and it's basically even if you're doing it by hand now, most people will just buy a transition pack. So it's like, I don't know.
I also realized how much there's out there that you could just buy. Like plugins.
And you notice it. I think you watch it from somebody who, if you come from that background, I think the more we do it as well, the more we'll be like, oh, they didn't make that. They didn't. That's all bot. That's all.
Yeah, there's something like it was enjoyable to try and make your own glitch instead of just buying something that you just drag over the top of it and then it just is.
Right.
It's also, it was motivated by trying to learn the program a little bit.
Right.
So watched a couple tutorials, which was fun.
That's good.
And then just followed it step by step.
Yeah.
And then I realized quickly that it is just a little bit of a different layout and a different way of thinking about it. I just have to kind of untrain my brain and my keyboard shortcuts a little bit because I kept doing the same thing.
That's fucking Adobe. Like, I'm sorry. I love all the programs they put out, but for the life of me, I cannot understand why shortcuts change between Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere. It's like even shortcuts of like making your brush size bigger. It's like, why is that not the fucking same? That's such an annoying little thing that you gotta like figure out.
I cannot tell you how many times I would press the arrow key to move the whole image, and how many times it fucked up a big portion of it, and how long it took me to realize why it wasn't lined up. I spent a good hour trying to realign stuff and then realized, oh, it's just because it's 2 frames to the right.
See, but you almost have to go through
exactly, and that's why it was very satisfying because I came out of it being like, oh, next time I come in and do some stuff, I'll be a little faster.
Right.
Not fast, a little faster.
No, and that's how I felt with moving from Avid to Premiere. I was like so slow at the beginning. I remember on my feature film, you're like, just cut this together real quick. And I was like,
what are you talking about?
It just really, really slows you down if you don't know the simplest shortcuts.
Yeah. But it's good. It's good to learn new things. And that's what I got excited about.
Right.
Because it's been something, honestly, that's been, I don't want to say bothering me, but it's like, I should learn this, but I've just not done it. And I've not put in the work to start to learn how to use this program. And I see how cool it is when you do stuff with it and how creative it can be.
But together, if we both know it,
Yeah, because
I can finally bounce things off people.
Yes, that as well. And I realized how I wanted to shoot stuff differently because of how I would then use
based on that.
And that was just, to me, like, even if I'm not at all on your level, knowing just basic things, be like, oh, we should have something that we can track in this picture.
If you want to do that.
Yeah. I was like, I know what you mean now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun.
Good. And then what'd you do yesterday? Or not yesterday, on Sunday?
I've just finished that video. Same thing.
And just relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Because,
Sundays is always a half day.
That's good. I just want to make sure you got a little bit of R&Rs as well.
It's like, if there's something pressing, then fine. But if there's not, it's like Sundays are a little more chill. Takes a little longer to start.
Yeah.
And a little quicker. But it's not like I'll have the afternoon off. It's more like we'll start later and finish the day earlier.
Tell me more.
There's not much to say there.
All right. Nice. Here I thought I wouldn't have anything to talk about. My first point just took up... How far are we?
That's good. Yeah, 12
really
minutes.
Good. 12 minutes. Good. Okay, yeah, I went away, and then... let's see, what's the best way to get through these points? I guess I went away, and I wanted to speak a little bit about just... This is the first time I've kind of gone on a little vacation since, starting the company and blah, blah, blah. And I just realized how much people hate their jobs. Because I was like, usually when I come back, right, the first bit of small talk is always going to be like how things are going and blah, blah, blah. And usually I'd be the one who's like, it's okay. Like, work is okay. It's kind of boring. And I don't know. I'm trying to get this other thing done. I arrived and I felt like I didn't need to talk about anything because I'm just like so... satisfied with how things are going that I also feel like I don't need to like prove myself. Like a lot of times and obviously it was different too when I used to fly back from America because it would be like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So you kind of need to keep work going, or you're working on a script or you're doing something. So I think my mom's so used to me showing up with like books and paper and me being like, I need to write this at least a little bit while I'm with you guys, and I need to read, and I need to this little workout schedule I'm trying to do, and it becomes a very sort of like stressful, weird, like I don't know why I'm trying to prove myself to anybody. I can't just relax.
Well, it's like if you're home for 2-3 weeks,
that's obviously longer as well. But now I showed up for 3 days, and I was like, I'm not gonna do anything, right? I'm just gonna relax.
Yeah.
Of course, you're still with your family, so it's like, I mean, I enjoy them, but it can also be bit of an intense experience sometimes because you're doing something constantly all day. It was amazing. It's like the best time I've ever had. Yeah, I think so. Or at least the most... I think because it's a shorter amount of time, I was very conscious of like wanting to spend time and quality time and not spending time on your phone or computer, or...
It's concentrated and you're
stepping
more
away.
Aware.
Right. And I was like, it just must have been so frustrating when I would show up and be like, oh, I got to work on my script. And then just work for,
Yeah, it's like, instead of taking longer off, take shorter off, but actually take time off.
Yeah, and be
completely off.
Yeah, I didn't even bring my computer.
Oh, man.
I was like, fuck it, I'm not bringing anything.
I want to do that.
And it's so fucking easy. From Copenhagen to visit my mom, I was like, they didn't even check my passport when I flew there, which was insane to me. Like nobody ever checked for any identification.
Yeah, no, I've had that too.
Isn't that weird?
I guess, but
it's like anybody could have just had my ticket and walked through.
I've once flown on my brother's ticket.
Yeah.
So actually flown on someone else's
possible.
ticket. I was so nervous.
Yeah, I would be sure.
And I remember when I showed up to the place where they scan your ticket and then check your passport at the same time. Right as I walk up there, some like alarm system went off. It wasn't to do with me. It was right before they scanned mine. Yeah. That got the woman's attention away from like properly looking at my ticket and my passport to just having to like fiddle with something. Yeah. And then I also, on top of that, asked her a question about how long she thought the plane would be delayed, so that she was like
distract her a little bit.
Distracted
That's good.
enough
That's
to
good.
not properly see that, yes, the last names match, but the first names weren't the same.
Ah.
I just flew all the way to Spain on my brother's ticket.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, yeah, but they didn't even check. That was the way. Until I checked it back. I brought my guitar back, so I had to check that in. And then they checked, oh, you're checking a bag. Can we have your passport? That's kind of how they ask. Unless you do the self-check-in, but then I think you need to scan in with your passport.
Yeah. You don't, yeah.
No.
So you checked in online beforehand?
Yeah, and then I literally walked up to the security thing. There was nobody there. It's just those electronic things now. Boom, get through there. Security takes like literally 2 minutes.
Yeah, so quick. Through.
And I don't have all my hard drive. I used to travel with like 8 hard drives every time I went somewhere because I was like, oh, I need to work on this film and I need to get this done a little bit from this, And I was like, yeah, it just felt very freeing.
Over the summer, I flew to France to meet my family for a couple of days. I guess I have had a little holiday as well.
Yeah.
And it was the nicest trip because even though I was flying at like 6 a.m, I didn't have any camera cases to check in. I didn't have a little whining Dachshund that potentially was about to poop in the middle of the floor.
Yeah.
I was just me and my backpack.
Yeah.
It's just so relaxing.
Boy, is it nice.
I have not had that for a really long time. Every time I've flown, it's always been with like ridiculous
gear
amount of
gear.
Gear and getting checked for like, oh, you have like 6 huge ass batteries in your carry-on. Wait, let me just call my supervisor. And then like people show up and like stand behind you to make sure that you don't like, it's like
people ask questions.
You get stuff.
My carry-on was like,
case.
I think the guy said it was like 20 plus kilos or something. He's like, you're allowed 6 or like 8. He's like, see if they let you through. Nobody ever asked anything.
And it's always slightly stressful. It's like,
what am I supposed to do?
It probably will work, but you're not sure.
But it's also, you cannot check in your hard drives underneath the plane.
Right. Yeah,
obviously.
Of course not.
So you need to take them. But then I'm also like, what am I supposed to do?
Like when I flew to New York, or when I flew back actually,
yeah.
With all of that gear, I would pack all of the most expensive equipment and the heaviest equipment in my backpack to avoid the weight of the single bag I checked in to be too much that I have to pay for 2 bags.
Yeah.
And I had to like shove it into one of those, see if your backpack fits, and then you're allowed to carry it on. And the woman was like, oh, that won't fit. And like, I was like, yes, it will. And I shoved it in, and sure enough, it like fit.
Yeah.
And I was like, there you go. And she was like, okay. Yeah. And then I can't get the bag out, and it gets wedged in there because it's all metal.
Yeah.
So it like hooked in under one of the bars, and it literally took me 5 minutes to get it out. Where God. People had to start, like, they just couldn't check anyone else because I was stuck in it.
Sweating.
I was so like, and she was telling me all this stuff. Like, I told you not to do that. And I was like, I'm so sorry, but it's all my equipment. And I just like told her what was going on. She's like, I mean,
it fits.
I'll let you, but I can't promise that you're allowed. That's what they always
say. And I'm like, that's all I need. And then when you go to the next person, you say, well, she said it was fine. Yeah, and they're like, oh, I guess.
No, they're not. They're like, who? No, they're not. They don't care. Oh, Bethany said it was okay. Oh, come on then. Yeah. No, it's funny. It's funny business.
Yeah.
But you were saying that you went home and you realized how much people hate their jobs.
Yeah, or not, don't hate their jobs, but you very rarely hear someone be like,
I love what I'm doing.
Or to not to not be like, because it's also, you're traveling for a 4-day weekend, so naturally the conversation comes up of work on Monday, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's another. I felt like I should just appreciate that, and I came back and we worked right away the next day, and that was obviously very tiring. But I never felt like, I gotta get up and
There was definitely a time when we just started getting clients and things like that where I would stress out a little bit about going on shoots because I'd be worried about all the batteries. Are they charged? Do we have the right SD cards? Are we really prepared for this job? And like things would run through my head, but more and more I'm just getting way more comfortable. So like going on, like we went on a shoot yesterday morning.
Yeah.
I hardly thought about it before I was there.
Is that a growing up thing? Because weirdly, I just told my mom that too. It was the first time I went to the airport, and it was not a stressful experience. Just because I felt like I packed way before. I was totally over prepared, which is so unlike me, right? I'm like, my mom knows me as this like complete sort of frazzled. Like if anything comes down to like organizing a bunch of things, I'm always going to forget something or lose something or something's going to go wrong. And it's kind of always like, oh, Taylor, you know? And I was like, is this finally it? Have I finally reached the status where I'm not the idiot who always forgets something?
Maybe.
You know? And it doesn't even feel like I'm not trying. I'm just sort of becoming a responsible a-dult.
I feel like I'd still pack like last minute if I'm going on a trip.
What's like right before?
That's what last minute means, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'd leave it to absolutely the last second and I probably would forget something. I feel like for me with the work stuff, it is that I feel confident in our abilities and that we've done it enough times now that it doesn't have to be something where I'm actively thinking through, have we remembered each thing? We have like a system going, so it's kind of...
I think it's a system.
What's the word when stuff runs...
smoothly?
No. Autonomously? Is that a word? Like where you don't have to go through a checklist and make sure you've done everything. You have a system that if something were missing, you would immediately notice.
I see.
But you don't have to like think about every specific thing because you've done it enough times now that it's kind of just
that's how I
in
feel.
The background.
That's how I feel. And it's more like also doing it, and while you're doing it, being like, okay, I'm 100% done with this. I don't need to worry about it anymore.
Exactly.
I used to do
the batteries are actually charging.
They are charging. Be like, wait, is that? I didn't really check that. Blah, blah.
Yeah. No, it's that.
Yeah.
I think it's just getting comfortable. You've done it before and it's gone well.
Right.
Why would it not go well this time?
Right.
But then real quick, staying on the topic of work on Mondays.
Yeah.
So we were shooting somewhere at 9 a.m. yesterday.
Yeah.
And so I took public transport. We both did, but separately.
Yeah.
To get to the place. And it's not very often that I take public transport at the same time as people going to work. Mm-hmm. Also are taking public transport.
Right.
It's always after or before or whatever.
Right.
And I don't know. I just was standing there listening to music with all my gear, like kind of pumped up because of the music I was listening to. And I was just excited.
Yeah.
And I just like everyone around me, obviously this is generalizing, but just there were so many people who were like sitting there in their work clothes, just like falling asleep, looking so miserable. And the atmosphere was just so like, everyone seemed a little bit like, fuck Monday.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm glad that's not me. And obviously there are people who love their jobs and stuff, but I was just so happy that I was very excited about what I was about to do.
Right. And it's just so, because I think a lot of people don't have the choice or even the opportunity to sort of, obviously everyone can do it. Obviously there's like not a person that you'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, buddy, but you could just never enjoy your job. You're just fucked, right? But I think there's definitely like a scale on how difficult it would be, right? And it's just it's just like a crazy thing that so many people don't enjoy what they do 5 out of 7 days a week. And the thing is, like, if you're doing that, what you also find out is that people are unhappy on Sundays because they're already
worried.
thinking
Exactly.
about, and then on Saturday, so you got one day off.
You've got
one day. One night, one day, and then I'm ready on Sunday. You're like, why can't?
Oh, it's already tomorrow. Oh, it's not. Yeah.
But I felt the same way when and it's just such a like.
I mean, I felt like that when I went to
situation.
School.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's the weekend finally.
Right. And the whole, what I really enjoyed is that for me to take 4 days off now, I mean, I guess it would really be 2 days, but it still felt like I'm gone for 4 days.
Well, because we normally work all days.
The fact that I don't have to go to my boss or sort of like, oh, please, may I leave for 4 days? Yeah. And then they're like, yeah, but you're not going to get paid. Yeah. So then you're like, fuck, this plane ticket's costing me this much. I'm not getting paid for a week, let's say. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's, this much of my salary. Mm-hmm. So suddenly you feel like you have this massive cost to leave and blah, 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 because you're getting paid by the day, you're not getting paid per project or per whatever. And the company I worked at, I think I got 3 vacation days, the first company. I think the second company offered like 6 vacation days for the full year, right? Which is a whole nother rant we could have about like the American work lifestyle, whatever you would call that. Where the fuck am I going with this?
It's interesting. I don't think you have to be going anywhere.
No, I had a point to make.
I was just shocked at how many of those people in the subway were young people as well.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to cut you off. That I just have to go to you and be like,
oh, right. That's where you're going.
Hey, buddy, I'm going to take these 4 days off. Is that a problem? Like, no, obviously not.
I don't think we're doing anything. No. So, well.
And then you did it. And it was just such a simple, thing that used to be just such a
big
massive.
Deal. Yeah.
Right. Sorry. Back to the train.
No, I just was trying to help you remember. No, I meant like the people looking miserable about to go to work weren't like old people.
Yeah.
It was like people my age as well.
Yeah.
I was like, you definitely have the opportunity to pick what you want to do.
Yeah, but think about it. Like, how many times do you go to somebody and be like, how many times do you have someone come up to you if you're meeting somebody or whatever who's like super enthusiastic about what they do? Like, of course there's, I've met a lot of people who do, but like, it's just not the norm, which is weird.
I think it's that. I don't think it's the norm.
Right.
Which is like, why?
Yeah.
I mean,
anyways, it's weird to talk about again because it feels that braggy territory.
It
again,
is, and it's exactly that feeling. It's like you don't want to be
too excited
because then it sounds like you're almost judging other people for not doing what they love.
Yeah, it's not saying people are stupid for not being able to do it. It's just saying.
I do think there's a general attitude.
But it's a little cultural too, I think.
That's what I meant.
It's a little bit like you just shouldn't like your work. Like
no, you should. It should be something that pays well. It should be something that's secure and stable, and it's less about like what do you want to do. I think that comes secondary.
Yeah. But why isn't it when you tell someone like, oh, I'm not that happy with what I do?
Like, well, that's
I feel
part
like
of
when
it.
I said that, people were like, yeah, I mean that's life.
That's how it starts.
You're not going to enjoy everything that you do.
Yeah.
Which is true. It's also a little sad.
You're not going to enjoy everything you do. Yeah, but like this is like
the
main thing of what you do. You should definitely enjoy it.
Yeah.
Kind of at all costs almost, right?
Yeah, again, I would way rather make, even if for the next 10 years, we just make enough money to only pay for the essentials, but we're never considered like rich or whatever. I'd be like, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, talked about that. Yeah, let's talk. So then we got back and we had to, or I got back and we had to shoot the very next day for this rock climbing gym, right? And that was just such a fun experience for me. Fuck. So basically, I mean, we won't spoil the video, but a part of the video has they're renovating this warehouse into a rock climbing gym.
Renovating is a light word. They're demolishing.
Yeah, what would you call that? Overhauling.
They're completely stripping down the entire building.
Well, not the whole building, but
no, the interior.
Yeah,
taking down everything inside.
They're gutting
outside
it. That's
walls.
why. Yeah, they're gutting it, and then they're gonna, obviously, because it used to be a car garage, and now it's getting turned into a rock climbing gym. And one of the things that we had said is that, like, let us know when you demo the walls. We'd like to be there for that and get a couple shots.
Mm-hmm.
And so we arrived yesterday. Or why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened then?
Well, it took a while to organize when this was going to happen because it was supposed to happen a week ago. But then on the day when we had gotten everything prepped to go and about to head out the door, they call and say, actually, this wall is made from some
reinforced
steel or something.
Yeah.
We need an engineer to come look at it. It's not going to come down today. Stay on hold, basically. So we were ready to go for a week, and finally we get to go for yesterday and shoot it. And
first of all, we get into the room and there's already a wall missing, and I was like,
are you kidding me?
What the fuck?
Yeah. They took it down.
Why didn't you guys call us for that wall?
Yeah. Well, it's because we specified that one. And it's a little frustrating, but it's also understandable that people who we are working with aren't necessarily thinking about what the footage is going to look like.
Right.
And it's a little hard for them to guess what it is we want to use it for. And sometimes when you're like, well, why didn't obviously that's a very visual thing that you did there.
Right.
Why didn't you let us know that that was happening? Like
Right.
we're shooting in another room.
That was
Something
the
that's
first time we were there.
completely boring because we're trying to shoot something.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And the next door, a wall's being taken
Yeah.
down.
And we come in and we're like,
And
where did that wall go?
And they're like, oh, we just took it down. Like, why didn't you tell us that was happening? And it's like, you gotta really be on the ball to like make sure that stuff happens the way you want it. You basically have to say exactly what needs to happen.
Right, and you have to push a little because some
let
people
us come in when this wall is going down.
Right.
Hold off on doing it. Once we get there, you need 3 people who are gonna be ready to do what we tell them to do.
Right.
At our time.
Right.
We need time to set up the camera. All right, the camera's set up. Now we're gonna rehearse this thing. And like one of the guys like didn't speak. The other guy was afraid to speak to the guy who didn't speak. And so communicating to the guy who didn't like to speak through the guy who was afraid to speak to him was a little confusing. And so everything took a little long, but we had to make sure that suddenly they weren't going to just push this wall over because we had one take to get it.
Exactly. And they're construction workers. So they're like manly men. Yeah. You know, we're like, excuse me, can you just...
Oh my God. The first time I went in and they told us to wear hard hats and like special boots so that we don't get like,
fined.
We don't step on a nail and like hurt ourselves or whatever. None of them are wearing helmets.
No.
None of them are wearing boots. Or some of them are wearing boots, but like I saw loads of people wearing just tennis shoes.
Yeah.
So we show up like helmets and like we're ready to go. I walk upstairs and there's literally like 5 or 6 guys just like, what the fuck is this guy doing here? Like making fun of my helmets. And I'm like, oop, watch out, this might fall down. Walk over this way, like turning the saw on right as I walk by and going like, I don't know. Like, are you making a horror film? Or how does my hair look on camera? And like, I'm like,
They're all pretty funny.
Yeah, they're funny. They're really nice as well, but they're definitely not at all used to a camera or what we're doing.
Right.
Like they have no idea what that means.
No.
So you really have to just completely
And it is super dangerous. You know, the shit that they're doing, I'm like, God damn.
Yeah.
Like one guy's sawing in the wall and I was like, if you just get caught, you know, he's like on this like little ladder thing and I'm like, you're just gonna fly right off the back of it.
Yeah.
Do a bunch of junk on the ground. You know, like twist every ankle in your body, you know? And he's like I was like, God damn. Intense job. Continue, So we basically
I don't know what else I mean, we had his idea.
They pushed down a whole wall.
A whole wall.
Like a full wall.
Yeah.
And they said, you know, watch out, because I'm standing kind of a little bit opposite the wall. You're fucking filming the thing, so I don't even know how you were feeling. And they're saying that if the wall hits the other wall and doesn't break, this whole slab is going to come shooting right at our shins, basically. Yeah. Right?
And he's like, if you jump quickly, you should be fine.
I'm like joking. I'm like, I'll just surf the thing right out of this building. It's like...
Well, I mean, their point was like, we're not going to tell you not to, but it's on you.
Personally, I love that.
I very much prefer that.
He's just like, you could get hurt. This is kind of like your own. And both of us are like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I was like, I actually, like, I was hoping that something would happen. To make it look more dramatic.
Yeah.
Like they were pushing, before we did this big wall, they were pushing smaller pieces of another wall. And they were saying like, there's a risk of it coming this way.
Right.
And breaking on this side. I was like, I hope that happens because it's going to look better.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, once you're behind the camera, you're like, you're not really there.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to get right up close like that. The guy who can't, because the wall falls down and one of the guys like jumps back.
Right.
And I was like, move! Because I wanted to get in there.
That's perfect. to get him, like, his reaction.
Hopefully
really
it'll look cool and it'll work in what we're planning.
Yeah, you'll
have to see what that is.
Yeah.
Because I think that'll be pretty cool.
I think so, too.
Once the whole thing's done.
So look out for that, but that's not coming out until, like, February or something, so...
Yeah. It's a long project.
It's a long process. Then this is going to be... Well, let me give a little bit of an update real quick on the tutorial video that that we had talked about.
Yeah. We talked about that
last
week.
podcast.
Yeah.
Basically, I fucking recorded this thing 3 times, and 2 of the times I either had corrupted footage or bad audio from this fucking I don't fucking know. I obviously it's my fault. I should have just put headphones in and seen if it was working. But I think you do it so much and it works so many times that you just kind of expect it to work. And then when it doesn't, you're just like,
you know what?
It happens on the worst times too.
It is part of the business.
It is.
Losing footage and bad audio happen to everyone.
It's got to be like
happens to everyone.
You know, it's like
it's a sinking feeling.
It's a sinking feeling because a lot of times something happens that you're like, well, I just can't recreate that, and that was really good or really funny.
That's the worst part. If it's something where the authenticity of it is very important,
right? It would be like recording a whole podcast for an hour, then being like, oh fuck, we didn't hit record. And then
let's
being
do
like,
it again.
Let's do it again.
Talk
You'd
about
be like,
everything.
Oh no, like now it's going to feel super contrived or, you know.
Because then
repetitive.
we start to know what the other person has already said.
Which already is the case with the podcast. I think already some things, you know, you'll say, and I kind of already know what you're going to say.
Sure.
Right. But it's like, I mean, basically with the tutorial, I did it. And then I waited 3 days to do it again because I was like, oh, I want it to feel new
natural
again. So I waited. And then just before leaving, I had like a 5 a.m. plane ride that night. Before that,
yeah,
I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to get my hour done.
Yeah.
I'm going to pack. And then I'm going to be super relaxed.
So that you've done everything
Everything's
before you
done.
go.
I fucking record this whole thing and then realize that the audio hasn't gone through. Anyways, I don't want to complain about it too much. But it's still coming. You know, I'll record it either today or tomorrow or something.
Nice.
And then that tutorial video should be out, and then you guys can look forward to whatever Mads will do for his first one.
What should I do? Do you have any things that you would think would be interesting?
I think the point of it is that it doesn't need to be anything incredible. Because I think, like I said last time, the point is just to add to the pool of options so that people who are learning the programs, you know, just have more. The more options, the more times you do something different, the better you'll just get at using the program, and until at some point you can just use it yourself. You don't have to copy somebody to get an effect.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So anything, even the glitch was really good that you did for Espen's video, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would be interesting for me to watch. I have an idea. I have a vague idea how you did that.
Yeah. It's like, it's just like three different tutorials combined into one.
Right.
Taking bits from each one.
Exactly.
I mean, I'd be more...
I'm not saying you should do that,
no,
but I'm saying something as small as that is already, to me, worth. I wouldn't be like, why did you do that? You know, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. And I think the same could go with a camera, or even something with like something as stupid as like ND filters. You know, a lot of people probably don't use those. I think anything that we didn't know 2 years ago, whatever, that would be helpful for.
I do want to try and do something because like you could search how to use ND filters and you find plenty of tutorials
that
are
something new.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's true.
For it.
That's
and
true.
I doubt I could add anything.
That's a really good point.
I want to add something.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, that's
like something unique or some insight that I've gained or a slightly different way of doing it or something that, you know, maybe the person watching hadn't thought of.
I agree.
That's my main thing. So maybe like combining two different things. We'll see.
I think combining, and I like, at least for me, I like the casual sort of making the video something entertaining rather than purely informational, but you're putting a lot of information in there.
Oh, you could do a lot.
Yeah.
I gotta make notes.
All right, we'll keep
brainstorm
about
this thing.
Quickly, I wanted to talk about. I watched 2 documentaries while I was gone.
Yeah.
Casting John Bonet and Searching for Sugar Man.
Yeah.
So Searching for Sugar Man was a documentary that had been recommended to me in sort of the vein of like, oh my fucking God, this is the best documentary of all time. Like, you have to watch this thing. I think it's good.
This is why you should never let people tell you about if something is good or bad, because expectations almost always
they can
ruin
it. Yeah.
It's like, had you gone into that never having heard of it, somehow stumbling across it,
I would have never.
You would have probably been like, oh, that was really good.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Because it's the best of all time, it's like, I don't know if it's the best of all time.
Yeah. So that was really good. But what I personally thought was even better and super creative was Casting Jean Bonnet. And I don't know how much I can talk about it, but it's a super creative way of making a film that really wouldn't was one of those films that I was like, it's just such a good idea. Like, it's not that expensive to make. It's not like, I don't fucking know.
It's very good.
And it's such a good fucking film. And it's so interesting, and the way it's put together, and it's basically the casting process of making a film that I'm not sure was ever meant to be made in the first place.
John Bonet was a little girl that was murdered.
Yeah.
And it's unsolved.
Correct.
There's a bunch of suspects. You don't know who did it in real life.
Correct.
And
I think it's a bit of a case where people were very like
split,
and it sounds like it wasn't fully investigated. There's a lot of sort of like open pockets of like, well, why didn't they investigate that? Why didn't they investigate that? Why?
There's so many possible explanations to what happened, but none of them were really properly looked into. At least that's kind of the premise going into it. And then the way that the filmmakers chose to show that was by casting each of the suspects as if they were an actor in a film.
Right.
And making those people, those actors, like giving them different storylines and having to...
Yeah, and asking them questions like, why would your character do this?
Yeah.
Why this?
So they got so into the roles that they were like almost revealing what really happened in real life by getting into the psychology of a character.
Right, but it's still a mystery because you're just getting like little bits. And I didn't know anything about the case.
I knew nothing about it either.
Right, which was a really interesting way to watch it, I think.
Yeah.
Because it is exactly, I would imagine, how they want you to watch it. Where you're like getting in pieces of information. You're like, what is that?
Oh, I love a good crime anything.
Yeah, but just the way it was put together was so creative as well. And, you know, they are shooting some of the scenes, but they're very, like, stylized. And some of the actors aren't that good, but they're put in, and it makes you feel a certain... And it's just such an interesting, especially from, like, a filmmaker's perspective, I think.
Yeah.
Really, really good stuff.
I just can't relate it to anything. I haven't seen anything like that before.
No, and that's
always fun.
Right. Yeah. I'm interested in doing another challenge sometime soon, but I can't really think. I would just be curious. We don't need to land on anything. I want to do something for about a month. That would be kind of back to our roots of like, let's give something up for a month, or, you know, a popular podcast that I listen to, they just did Sober October, and I just thought it would be fun for us to go through a little challenge, a little something.
Well, you know, I'm feeling that too.
It's been a little while.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you kind of get addicted to those challenges a little bit because
a little, and it's something
good.
just to throw things, you know,
to change things up a little bit. Right, it makes you change your habits.
Right.
Well, I've got a few things. I don't know if they're about cutting things out.
Yeah. Well, let's just.
I mean, one of the things I wanted to talk about last podcast was the idea of because we're setting things up to be able to work on our feature-length films for the month of December.
Oh my God, I wanted to talk about that.
And now,
keep note of that.
And now we're planning on potentially going on some kind of climbing trip over New Year's.
Yeah.
You know, New Year's resolution. Like, it feels like a new thing. Like, it'd be fucking awesome to have a first draft by New Year's.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards.
Okay.
But
that's good, but I hate to do challenges on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if it's not
if history has told us anything,
it doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
So that's not something I want to make a challenge. That's definitely a goal.
Right. I wouldn't want to make that explain why.
Because you suddenly run into
but we've done this before, haven't we?
Have we? With
I mean, off of your film, I had the thing where I was like, for a month, I'm going to write
this
many hours every day for my script.
And it just
became
because some days you don't have anything to write, and then you stress out about having to write, and it's just not good, and it makes you feel like you're failing, and it just it makes everything a negative experience.
Right.
You're not excited about it.
And the challenge aspect of it really doesn't help with the fact that, like, you know, some days there's literally you're doing something all day. And then it's like, great, now I still have to write for this many hours. I still need to read. I still need to meditate. We had like 6 things.
Yeah.
I was like, holy fuck. And I would just be like, riding in someone's car real quick because I was like, okay, they're driving there. I guess I'll ride, get 30 minutes in there, and it just became totally like I'm not gonna fucking use that on a ride to a restaurant, Like
I think we got a few things wrong, but also a few things right. I think
we learned a lot from it.
The main thing was daily challenges. No. You gotta leave room for days that are taken
right
and not feeling like it on certain days, because it's still, you don't want to make the whole thing a negative experience where you're forcing yourself to do something that you really just don't want to do right now.
And the thing is, it's annoying when you know that you enjoy it, but you're not enjoying it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But then, I mean, on another level, say I set the challenge was I need to finish a first draft of my film by this date. I would start to make decisions that might compromise the overall quality of the work because I was trying to hit that date.
Right.
Whereas I should be focused on working on it, but making it good. And that should be the only focus.
Right. But a date definitely always helps.
It does. And that's why I want to set it as a goal, because that really helps me to be like, well, if I want to reach that goal, I got to work on it today. And I want to work on it, and I should. Yeah. So here I go. But that I don't want to set that as an actual challenge, because when we set a challenge, it's like you're accountable to the other person. You have to bet. It's a bet. You got to do something or give something up if you lose. Right. It's a big deal.
Right. So they should be something beneficial, something...
Right. So what I'm getting excited about and kind of gearing up to doing is to be able to do that, I like to get into a lot of other habits that promote like productivity, specifically to do with like working out and eating right and sleep schedules and stuff. So I get like really into this mode of get up at a specific time, do this, do that, and then write, and then work out, and then write, and then just get into like serious daily habits that are flexible within themselves. It's not like a psycho plan like we used to do. Yeah. But we could do something like I've been struggling to stick to my workout schedule that I've been trying to set. I've like, if you look at my notebook, every couple of weeks there's like, all right, here's the new plan. Oh, okay. Mondays climbing, Wednesdays climbing, Fridays climbing. In between that, I'm going to go running, then swimming in the morning, then a long run and stretching beforehand, and hangboard sessions on these days.
Because you're training for
I'm training, and I'm not properly training.
What's it called, an Ironman?
Yeah, an Ironman. I mean, there's a couple of reasons why it's not working. One being that my knee is still fucking... Yeah. It's getting better. It's almost there. Okay. But it's just been very hard to... like the running is something that really... Like once I do my run, I'm like, oh, I do everything else as well. Yeah. But if I don't do the run, it's like... Everything else just feels a little... I don't really want...
Yeah.
It's like once you do one thing, you want to do the next thing. Once you start working out, you maybe want to eat a little healthier because you just fucking worked out for 2 hours. I want to make sure I'm getting the most out of that workout. Yeah. And okay, once I'm doing that, I'm also want to make sure I'm sleeping enough. And it all kind of slowly builds up and builds up. So if you take one of those out, it's like everything else gets a little less exciting. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but this is just what I've been thinking. Something with like a workout schedule where...
Think about it, because I think I would like to do something that's just we both do things personal. It doesn't have to be the same thing.
No. I like that we do that. Right. Because then we can just do stuff that we want to do. And it's not like, okay, I guess I'll go along with not eating sugar for a month or whatever if that's what you want to do. Right. But it's not really what I'm wanting to do. Exactly. Do you have anything?
I think I would want to do like a sober, like no alcohol, no weed, no nothing, for maybe even take out caffeine. I just like, when I did it with the film as well, no alcohol for a month, it kind of resets your body a little bit. It kind of, know, I don't know.
That's a good one.
It's just it's just something, out of 12 months, you can kind of be disciplined for 1 month out of those 12. I think is a good general rule.
I think, it makes you... it makes you really excited to once that month is over as well. It kind of makes you appreciate what you maybe...
It's exactly that. A reappreciation. Or it also forces you to question the habits that you've kind of built up. Yeah.
It's very easy to get very far into habits.
Super quickly, yeah.
I'm a big fan of like dramatically changing up a habit for time to see what happens, and then you can kind of adjust accordingly afterwards.
And I like abstaining, you know?
Yeah, I know you do.
Because it's a lot easier than... It just takes up less mental space, I find.
To not do something, of course.
Right.
Debatable. Depends on what it is and who you are.
For me personally.
Yeah, no, that's probably true.
The other thing that I might want to do, and it would kind of be either or, again, I don't want to do this massive... I think also in the past we've made mistakes where we're like, well, there's these 8 things I want to change in my life.
I'm going to do all of them at once.
Now, right? The other one, I think I could be reading a little bit more.
Same. Oh, gosh.
But that's also a tough one to... No, it's not. That's just me justifying. That's another one I would like to do. So I'll decide for myself.
You know, I think the reason why we always have like 8 things all at once is because once you do one thing, you're like, well, I might as well also do this one.
Yeah,
and I might as well also do this. Once I'm in that
mindset,
exactly.
I don't like drinking and reading really. So if I drink one, I'm just not going to read because it's just like I feel like I'm not getting in all the information or I'm missing some stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of stuff definitely works off of each other well.
Yeah, 100%.
But then maybe by saying, hey, I'm going to not drink, no weed, no nothing for a month, maybe that just... I get bored at certain points. I'll decide to read.
Yeah,
you know,
probably.
So maybe that's sort of the root of the problem, rather than
I think
trying to change. You know,
let's have learned. Let's show that we've learned from our mistakes and not do multiple things. Do one thing.
Just something simple.
Just one thing.
Doesn't need to be a massive deal. And then let's have it be a fun little. Let's come up with a bet. I like doing it around New Year's or something. That could be fun.
Like up until New Year's.
That would be interesting.
That's what I want to do. I want to set something, and because I like the idea of like, you know, a lot of people, they will start a new habit the day after New Year's.
Yeah.
I swear I've heard somewhere that the statistics show, especially with people who say, okay, I'm like workout. It's a new year, new me. Here I go.
Gym membership,
and that's it. You go the first couple of weeks, and then they've got you because you paid for a fucking year, but you never go again.
Yeah.
Like, there's something satisfying about doing it before New Year's. Like, it doesn't have to be New Year's. It could be any time.
Yeah.
Why not do it before?
Arbitrary. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Right now.
Yeah.
So okay.
Let's think of something. Maybe by next podcast.
I already know.
Oh, you want to say?
You
don't want to think about it? You're going to commit?
I like to do this. I don't like to think about it too much.
All right.
Because I already have thought about it.
Okay.
And like I said, go look at my notebook. You'll see.
Let's do it. What?
I want to work out in whatever way.
Okay.
6 times a week.
Okay.
So if that's climbing, that's climbing. If that's doing some sit-ups, that counts as well. Some kind of workout, not physical activity. Climbing the stairs does not count. It has to be, here I go, I'm going to do a workout. And I know with myself what that means.
Is that a jab at Phoebe?
No, not at all. Nope.
I remember the one day I was here.
I swear.
I'm going to go on the stairs for 20 minutes or something. I was like,
well, that is a workout.
Power to you.
That's a workout. But I mean,
no, like, it's funny to me because it's something I would never do. I totally agree. It is a workout.
If I said like, I just had to do physical activity, then I might justify that the bike ride to the restaurant that we're working at is,
or jerking off. And you're like, whew, that was pretty hard. All right.
I couldn't count that as a physical activity. No, a workout.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna hold off.
You know what? I'm gonna add to that. Not adding to it, but just the criteria is that I have to every week send you my weekly workout that I did. So on Monday I went climbing. You knew I was there.
Okay.
On Tuesday I did this, so that I'm accountable.
Okay.
So that those workouts, I can't just bullshit and do 10 push-ups. That was a workout.
Nice.
I'm gonna tell you what I did.
I dig a lot.
6 times a week. So that means I have one full rest day
And you want to do all of December.
What day is it?
November 6th, 7th, 6th.
No, I'm gonna do it all the way from now.
From now until
January 1st.
Oh my God, crazy guy over here. Okay.
It sounds super spontaneous. It's something I've been wanting to do I've been trying.
I've been thinking about mine a lot. I just want to discuss it kind of. I don't want to spend too much time.
Fair enough.
We'll tell you guys next episode exactly what we're gonna do.
I just
Is that
did.
fair? Yeah, but we don't know what the bet is or
no, we don't know the bet
consequences.
Yet. And I think we need to get better at making those bets.
What do you mean?
Because we'll start with like a weekend with like, well, what's the actual consequence of not doing this?
Yeah, let's have a real consequence.
Yeah, agreed.
Also, but let's not make it crazy where it's like, oh, if you ever win an Oscar, you can't give yours. You know, it's like, God damn, why has it got to be so?
Yeah. You don't want to like sacrifice your mental health for this thing.
No. All right. And that is it. I have the questions from last week if you'd like to do those. But I think we might be at a good time.
What are the questions from last week? What do you mean?
You were the one who was like, how well do I know you? And let's next time do how well you know me.
You did new questions, right?
No.
You did the same questions?
Yeah.
That's lame. All right, go.
Should I do my own?
Yeah, pick your own. Like just do 3 or 4 questions that like challenge. See if I know you.
See if you know. But oh man.
Or how well.
Well, I'm not going to come up with them now. Yeah, I'll come up with 4 for not next week, but the week after.
Okay.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. See you later.